If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
You asked us if we were excited about spring training. Are you excited about spring training?
I haven't spent a whole lot of time, now being in Detroit, there's a lot of buzz for the Tigers.
I wonder why.
And, my son's 11 years old, my daughters are 11 and 8, and they're more Detroit Tigers fans. We'll hit an Orioles game in the summer, but, we'll probably hit 4 or 5 Tigers games that are on TV all the time, and my kids will be Tigers fans. That's just, the way it is.
Did they try to use your, do you ever get this, Dad, can I meet Prince Fielder? Can you make that happen?
No, my kids are spoiled as it is. They don't need any stuff like that. I mean, my son went with me to the NFL Honors event here for the Super Bowl, and we walked the red carpet, and it was as if he had done it his whole life. It was like, it's interesting. We got a chance to meet Joe Namath and spend some time with him. And a couple days before that, I watched that HBO thing. My dad hated Joe Namath forever because, because of the Baltimore Colts and the Jets beating him and everything else. And after watching that HBO special on Joe Namath, I couldn't help but be a Joe Namath fan, but got a chance to spend some time with him. And, Joe Montana, and Troy Aikman, and Steve Young, and my son was sitting there, and I said, who's, all these guys you met tonight, who's your favorite one? And he said, LaShawn McCoy. And, it gives you a little perspective of what an 11-year-old is. What's impressive to an 11-year-old as opposed to a 45-year-old.
Is Barry Sanders still involved in Detroit? I guess it's something, we saw him do the pregame thing for the Monday night game, but is he still active in the Detroit community and with the team?
He holds the chains at my son's football games.
Does he really?
Yeah, my son and his son go to the same school, and they're on the same football team.
Wow.
But again, the 11-year-old kids,
they don't get it, right?
They don't. That's Mr. Sanders.
Right.
That's Nigel's dad. That's not
greatest, arguably greatest running back of all time.
Yeah. So it's just a different perspective. But he lives there year round. People in Detroit always appreciate that about people. Barry Sanders not only had his whole career as a Detroit Lion, but he chooses to live in Detroit. And he's a guy that can live anywhere in the world that he wanted to live, and he raises his family and lives in Detroit. That's why they like Bob Seger and Kid Rock so much. Those guys have never left.
It's surreal, and I know we've sat and talked, and you've just showed you hang out with Bob Seger, you hang out with Kid Rock. He comes to practice. It's part of the whole community that it really becomes, and in that way probably similar to Baltimore, in that you wander over to the Ravens facility one day, and Josh Charles from The Good Wife is hanging out there just watching practice, and it's so much of a community thing.
Well, I'd like to state for the record that Bob Seger greater than Josh Charles.
Okay, yeah, all right, fine. I get what you're saying. We don't have a Bob Seger in Baltimore. Frank Zappa is no longer with us. Right, yeah, exactly. We got Rob Fahey. We got John Allen.
Yeah, you got John Allen. You got David Byrne.
Okay.
Lansdowne High School.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
Talking
point.
Heads.
Right.
I did get that right, though, wasn't it?
No, you're right. Yeah,
David Byrne.
right.
Cisco.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have Cisco from Drew Hill. That's the thong song. That's our Bob Seger.
You got the Kicks.
Yeah.
The Kicks, yeah. Steve Whiteman. They're Hagerstown, though.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. Jimmy's Chicken Shack was big for a minute, but they were in Annapolis. Yeah, we don't have Bob Seger in Baltimore.
I've probably seen Kicks 100 times live.
Really?
They still rock in Baltimore. They still do some shows
every now and then. They do they'll be in Towson around Thanksgiving time. They'll play a show, something like that. It's still.
It's funny. I'll do stuff and talk to people because when I do the Twitter stuff, generally I throw out like music selections, and I'll have Kicks on there an awful lot, and I'll get they call them tweetbacks. Is that the people?
Yeah, they tweet you, sure.
Tweetbacks. Anyway, people send stuff back and I'll end up getting it. It'll say stuff like, hey, I'd never heard of this band before, and I saw them in Louisville and whatever in '96. They played the best live show I've ever seen. You don't know how many times I've heard people say Kicks, cool. And it's not people from Baltimore, but people around the country that say Kicks is the best live show I've ever seen.
That's really cool.
And I think people from Baltimore got a little bit spoiled with what they did. But they were good.
Jim Schwartz, Detroit Lions head coach. That whole playlist thing, by the way, is really cool. I mean, it's really cool. It ends up becoming part of my Sunday morning. Like, I have to know what's on your playlist on the way to the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I usually roll with a lot of 80s heavy metal.
Right.
But I'll throw some little bit of other stuff in there sometimes. Usually I stay away from the country on game day. But I still got a lot of country. I got a lot of country in my background. From spending 10 years in Nashville, I got a lot of country in there too.
Makes sense.
I always find a way to get some Detroit connection in there too. A lot of times when we're on the road, I'll sort of hit whatever that local, whatever town is. We were in Dallas. I got through some Pantera in there.
Nice.
New Orleans. I went with Zebra in New Orleans. Now, you gotta go deep.
Wow.
You gotta go deep for Tell Me What You Want, but that's in New Orleans, man. I think with Dr. John must have been the right place.
It's pretty good.
Or whatever it is. Yeah, that's something in there.
All right, so we're assuming that next year it's a Ravens-Lions Super Bowl in New Orleans. Who's playing the halftime show?
I don't know. I'd rather see who's playing the post-game celebration.
All right. Well, that's going to happen. It'll be a purple celebration.
I'm a little bit busy at halftime.
Yeah, okay, but were you into the Madonna thing?
Yeah, I went out and bought a hat and a T-shirt for my son during the halftime show.
You didn't bother to...
Yeah, the last 2 years haven't been my cup of tea. You know, Madonna...
Well, the Black Eyed Peas thing was terrible.
Yeah, those haven't been my cup of tea. You know, when Springsteen did it,
right.
You know, that was pretty big time for me. You know, the Who, not so much. You know, we got enough you know, American bands.
Right.
We don't need to go across the pond too much. But, you know, yeah, the last couple haven't been my cup of tea.
Well, I asked because I've been formalizing plans. That would be pretty good. Be pretty good. I want to start. I think Stevie Wonder should play halftime in New Orleans. I think that's a slam dunk. So if I figure you're a big star now and you're on Twitter, that if I get Jim Schwartz in on my Stevie Wonder for halftime campaign, that it all of a sudden has all sorts of new links.
Bob Seger or Kid Rock or Ted Nugent.
All right, I get it. You've got to be Mr. Detroit.
No.
I'm the mayor now.
I would take those guys over Stevie Wonder any day.
Wait a second, you're not hating on Stevie Wonder, are you?
But Stevie Wonder hasn't made one of my playlists.
Okay, but that's because you're getting ready for a football game.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You want something rock and roll.
Seger needs to be playing halftime.
Well, I'd be all in for Seger.
I mean, the only thing that they'd have to do is extend halftime for another half hour to try to get all his hits in. And that guy's as much a part of America as the Super Bowl. That one should happen. If I'm going on a campaign for somebody, there's a body of work there.
Sure.
And there's a football fan, and there's a good guy, and that's something that should be recognized.
He played in Baltimore Thanksgiving weekend, and everyone said it was quintessential. It was rock and roll. It was exactly who he is still to this day.
Yeah, my wife's not a big music fan. She has a hard time, you know.
Really?
Well, she has a hard time just knowing, like, she doesn't know who sang what song.
Oh, so she knows she likes the songs.
But she has no idea.
Okay.
You know, if U2 or Rush, you know, sang it. But we went to a Seger concert last year in Detroit, and I said, so you're going to know every single song,
right?
Every single song that's played, and every single one she recognized. I think that, you know, if you can appeal to people like that, you can definitely appeal to the hardcore.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.